Hey guys, welcome back to Epi 5 of the Neighbour Kids podcast. Today I am joined by Shane, Sam, and Blair. Say hello, fellas.
Hey,
Uh,
Lex.
Oh my
Hello.
god. Basically, Shane's brought a really good topic tonight. He's brought it to the table, the big boy table, and I'll
Big
hand it
boy.
over to him.
Yeah. So here's me, right? Just sitting in Discord, and I was
Wondering why
playing.
there's a hole in the wall.
Wondering why there's a hole in the wall. Fucking hell. And I was playing with our mate Byron, and his dad was like just doing typical dad stuff, just yelling at him and telling him to do shit. But earlier the day, like he wasn't feeling the best, like mentally, and I was thinking back to when I was a kid and how my mum kind of didn't pick up on like the kind of inside struggle of like depression and shit like that. Not till
Yeah.
I told her. But it really made me think about like the generational gap in mental health for people of like around our age and older people, like parents.
Boomers.
Yeah, boomers. People that are on their deathbed.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, like, because I know that back in the day, like, mum had her issues with mental health, but she's really understandable now, and she was back then. It was just a bit more, uh, like, I didn't tell her much, so it was kind of wrong on my end for not talking about it. But yeah, I feel like the older generation has a ideal of like you'll get over it. Look at all the shit that I've been through. So
Yeah.
you have nothing to complain about. So whatever's going on with you, it'll pass over. I don't think people of the older generation believe that it is a serious mental illness that doesn't just go away from saying get over it.
Yeah. I feel
I,
like they just think it's
mm,
sadness. Like they just sad. Like we're just sad.
Yeah.
Literally.
I kind of disagree. Like I definitely know from a standpoint that like I have a lot of family, well not well something that like I don't really want to share, but basically like I know a lot of people that are a lot older that actually like believe in mental health issues. It's just more or less um generations like to compare themselves with one another. So it's like, like the whole like back in my day I used to have to fight a shark every time I fucking walked to school. It's just like it's like that shit like where each generation compares to each other. So it's like oldies are like, yeah, we don't understand the technology of nowadays where like back in our day we use coal. Do you know what I mean? Like
Use
so
coal.
so like I think I think that they understand that mental health issues are there. It's just they deal with it a lot different. So they compare it and they go, "Oh, really? He's not that bad because I've done it before, so he'll get through it, or he or she."
Yeah.
Um, or
Well,
attack helicopter, whatever you define yourself as.
oh my god.
I
Well,
think that's actual slur now. You can't say that anymore.
Yeah.
well, it it kind of brings to the point. Like, I think it's more individual experiences than anything. Like,
Yeah.
I know, at least on my side, um, I am very like I was very secretive of how I was feeling, especially with like the whole like mental health thing. Because like obviously you don't want your parents to worry, and with my dad, I don't really talk to my dad much, but he I told him about how like I was in therapy. I think it was sometime like at the end of last year. I think when I first moved to my current home, and I was like, I'm doing therapy right now, and he was like, oh, for what? What's wrong with you? And I was like, I'm depressed, Dad. Like I've been sad for a long, long time. And he was like, oh, have you? And I'm like, oh, okay. Fucking how far away mentally, like as a connection, do you have to be from your son to not know about all the shit that he's gone through to be sad? And he's
Yeah.
like, oh, do you now? Do you? It's like fucking Doug. I've
Yeah.
been like this.
Mm.
Yeah. I think that, yeah, sorry to cut, but like, I think of it as like a way, like, I don't know. It's so weird because expectations from kid never meets expectations from parent, if that makes sense. Like, parent expects, like, you bring a child into the world, like, the parent thinks that they do really well. They don't want to be like their parents, they want to be really good. So when they, like, when they have mental health issues, it never clicks in because they want to actually, like, bring you up well. They don't want anything wrong with you because every child, excuse my language, but they pop out is like they want them to be gold and they want them to be perfect. So when there is actual mental health issues, it doesn't click right away. And I think that's like what the biggest thing is that our generation has brought it more to light, whereas their generation started, like, obviously it's always been around mental health, but it never really was shown like that well because, in a workplace you weren't allowed to have it because it affected your work, so you lost your job because of mental health issues. It's like all this sort of stuff that now is becoming normal, well, the norm now to actually have all these issues. Do you know what I mean? So, like, with your dad, he would have been really blind to it because he wasn't used to it being a normal thing. So, like, I'm not discrediting you, but I'm just like, I'm more or less saying, like, I can understand the differences and changes, but it's also like not a good thing as well.
No. Well, there's. I just don't think the older generations really acknowledge it as much as we do,
Yeah.
as like a real striving, like a real problem. Because like there is like the point of toxic masculinity where like that's more prominent in older dudes rather than like people like us.
Dude.
Like, because from like a young age, you always there's like this social thing of like dudes never cry. If you cry, all the other boys around you will fucking make fun of you and they'll bully it down into your subconscious, and you'll start thinking, oh, I'm not gonna cry because if I cry, my friends won't be as like won't have my back as much as they do right now. So that's where we kind of get that push it down, let no one see type thing. But as I think as the society is evolving and as we are evolving as humans, the importance of inside struggle becomes more prominent in society.
Yeah.
Can I just jump in? Blair was going to say something earlier, but he hasn't had a chance yet. I just wanted to give him the floor for a second.
What was I gonna say?
I don't know. You were going to say something.
Oh wait, shit, no. Oh well, there we go. Well, what I was thinking was earlier because I was thinking about because I always think is so I believe that our generation, maybe not us, but the slightly younger ones to us, what's the word I'm looking for? I don't want to sound rude when I say it. They
Fake?
can't differentiate whatever that word is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They can't recognize because some days you boys know some day you just wake up, you're like, oh fuck, I am just really not feeling today, and like that feeling that might go on for a few days where you just wake up, you're like, oh fuck,
Every day.
and yeah, well, not every day, but you know what you mean. You just wake up, you're like, oh fuck, I'm not really feeling it, I'm feeling a bit down today, and then you're confused because the other day you're like fucking $1,000,000, but there's that, and then there's actually being depressed, and I feel like some children or some teens nowadays, they can't realize that there's a difference between that, and fucking Jesus. Sorry, I'm trying to read off the fucking piece of paper I wrote this down on, but the problem is with that is they have this thing called the internet, and they can, and I think the internet's great if you're depressed or something. The internet's a great place to like reach out for help and stuff, but it's also a great place to reach out for the wrong help, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. So there's like so many different paths you can go down, and
Yeah.
80% of those paths are terrible.
Yeah, exactly. And that's where like that, and I feel like that also plays into mental health because you reach out, you find a small community of people that get what you're talking about, but then you could also find a small community of people who get what you're talking about, but they go about it in the wrong way.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like,
Instead of
yeah.
like they'll tell you instead of going that like you'll say like, oh, I want to go do this instead of like say let's just say in a hypothetical situation I'm depressed and I'm in one of these communities and it can either go there's a million ways it can go, but two of the main ways it can go from what I've seen is you explain what's happening, you tell them all this, and I'll either give you good advice on how to handle it, and you can take that advice, or they'll give you bad advice, which actually just backfires in your face.
Yeah.
So I think you're onto something there, Blair, with the internet being a problem regarding mental health and reaching out to the wrong people and the wrong places and stuff. But I'd say the bigger problem with younger people saying they're depressed when they're just sad, or even faking a mental illness or whatever, is a lack of awareness and a lack of education surrounding the topic. I mean,
yeah.
like the generation that their parents are in, the age of the generation above our parents, who even though your experience, Milky, was that they recognized it as a real issue, and that they just sort of dealt with it differently. In my experience, that generation doesn't know what it is properly and doesn't think it's a real thing, especially from my experience with my dad and my family and whatever else. But the thing is, that generation is our teachers in our schools, and how often do we learn about depression or mental health in school?
Yeah, exactly.
It's like the one day campaigns.
Yeah, I think I had a term of it. That was it.
There's like a transfer of knowledge. So like these guys in these other generations who don't believe it's a real issue, or that it's just a sad you can get over in a couple of days, are not taking it seriously when educating these kids about it. So they're just teaching it as being sad or as not feeling very good, or these stupid videos with like the black balloons or whatever. And these kids are going like, oh, they're just really sad. I'm really sad right now, so I must be depressed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or they're making fun of the situation, and it just takes away from it for everyone.
Well, it's
Yeah,
like,
I remember. I'm sorry to interrupt, Ethan.
that's all
But
right.
I remember when I was in school, we had to watch this fucking we had to watch this bullying and depression video. It was like two things put into one, and it was about this fucking and like this exactly what Sam said. The whole premise of the video was there was this kid that was left-handed, okay, and everyone was ripping the shit out of him because he was left-handed. They'll call him a left-handed freak, a left-handed loser and shit, and the message in the video was great. Like, it explained what to do when you're being bullied, what to do when you're feeling depressed, and all this, that, and this. But the whole topic of it got out of what is it?
Text.
Out of text, out the window, because one of my mates pointed at me and another kid and said, "They're left-handed. They're left-handed freaks," and then the entire class was not paying attention to the video. Instead, they were paying attention to me and this other poor kid who was ambidextrous, so he'd switch hands, but he used his left mostly.
Well,
And they were just ripping the shit out of us. And we had to. They tried to show us that video like 3 more times to try and get the message across. And every time, no one paid attention. It was just left-handed freaks.
well,
Yeah.
why did you write with your left hand? Is my question. You weird, you weird cunt.
You just fuck up. But you know what I mean? It's
Yeah. No, that's
the whole fucking context. The whole
Yeah.
lesson, the whole 45 minute lesson just went out the window because some fucking smartass was like, they're left-handed.
well,
Yeah.
like teachers
say,
will
mate?
be like, oh, my bad.
What?
What were you gonna say, Mac? You were gonna say something.
Oh yeah, like my take on like it's so funny. Like you get the timeline of the last, we'll say 100 years, right? You get our parents or grandparents basically, who weren't well knowledged or acknowledged basically any mental health issues. They'd be like like sad, that blah blah blah, and then it was like our parents, like it's sort of like coming in
Wait,
basic.
if I
What?
can, to avoid the the last week's thing, stop saying like.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Sorry, guys. But basically, our parents' generation would have been starting to learn about it all that sort of thing. Basically hit our generation like a fucking brick wall. Everyone's like, everyone like learns about it, and now it's so overlearnt. Internet, great access for some things, but learning about things, it's just not a good place really when it comes to personal things like I have a headache, I got a fucking brain tumor. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, I
and
was about
it's
to say that. Yeah.
and it's like kids nowadays, like yeah, like the whole thing. They're sad, so they self-diagnose themselves. They don't actually reach out, try go get help.
Hmm.
Like basically our parents or 20 to 30-year-olds, that sort of thing, will actively go out to someone, pay money, or try anyway to actually find out what's wrong with them.
Yeah.
Whereas kids nowadays, they don't actually have the money. They're gonna grow up thinking that they're this way. And you keep that mindset, you keep that routine of constantly thinking you have this mental health issue. It's just a bottomless pit. Like
Yeah.
you're gonna be swallowed up in a black hole because you self-diagnosed yourself as a kid because apparently the definition all summarized of depression is just sadness.
Yeah.
But it's like a totally two different spectrum of things where sadness is just a symptom.
Yeah.
But like it's just yeah, like that's what I mean, like the internet self-diagnosis. As soon as you think you have a symptom of something, you're fucked. Like it's like the whole COVID thing at the moment. You have a symptom of cold, you stay home for 2 weeks until you find out your result. Like it's so like Shane just coughed, he might have COVID. Like it's just
I'm pretty sick.
like like we've gone to the we've gone to the point in life and society where
Oh my
where
fucking
or
god.
I'll say community then. I'll say community.
No, say society.
Yeah, society.
Okay.
We
Okay,
live in a
with
community.
with society that where
We live in a community.
but it's
Okay,
like
okay, sorry.
it's like we're all at a point where we just think the worst all the time. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it's so bad because you tackle everything head on with the worst outcome ever. It just doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
back to Sam's point, it's definitely true with the teachings of it. Like, teachers will be like, they'll drill the importance of mental health in, but they will only drill it for like a 1 hour assembly. Like,
Yeah.
they'll come in and like you'll come in, sit down, assembly time. They'll put up a whole ass presentation about how mental health is so important. You should stop bullying because you don't know what the other person's going through, and then send you on your way. And then as soon as like someone shows a bit of mental health issue with someone bullying them, I know for a fact that teacher won't do shit about that bully. They'll
Yeah.
be like they'll have a probably stern talk to him, and then that's it. Nothing will
Yeah.
come from it. Like in my experience in school, it differs because there was Delroy campus in Dubbo, which was very much like that. A teacher would see someone getting bullied, they wouldn't do shit.
Yeah.
They would just look at it and be like, and probably give them like, make them follow her or him to their office, and like kind of scold him for like probably 10 seconds, and then they'll
Yeah.
leave and do that shit all over again. And then
Yeah.
in senior campus, people were more mature. That shit didn't really happen in my year, at least. But everyone kind of got along. There was still like that kind of the people that wouldn't grow up, like that group. They would just go around fucking trying to start shit. Usually the fucking smokers down the back oval.
But it's like
They're cool kids. Don't talk shit about them.
the way that I see that is every when it comes to a schoolyard, if I'm honest, it's every man for them fucking self. Like even down to the teachers, even down to anything, because kids can make your life a living hell. If they don't like you as a teacher because you're a snitch, you'll get fucking bullied yourself. Like it's to that point where teachers have to really like yeah, they can do all these anti-bullying campaigns. They can give a stern talking to, but they're never going to take full action unless the kid really requests it.
Yeah.
And basically from both sides of it, the kid doesn't want to get bullied more for being a narc or, having a teacher follow him around so they don't get bullied. Like, it's just like that. And also too, like, if you dob on being like a bully, basically you'll get stripped from your friends and everything else, everything that makes you sane at school, and you'll have to be followed around with this type of security guard. So it's like, I'm definitely not rooting for bullying right now, but I'm just saying, like, when it comes to school, it's every man for themselves. Like, there's always going to be a bad side to school, there's going to be a bad side to everything, even in a workplace, there's going to be a bully. But it's so hard because you have these, like, people aren't going to change. You're going to get bullied if you're a telltale, you're going to be bullied if you stand up against a bully. You're just going to get bullied no matter who you are.
Yeah.
So,
But to expand on that, I feel like the teachers have a duty of care for these kids, and if these kids are feeling they're being bullied or they feel like they're being whatever, the teacher shouldn't really be worrying about how the kids are going to treat them for taking action and for disciplining them. But also on top of that, you like, I kind of agree. There's always going to be bullying and stuff, but you can also educate these kids early on in life about like how bad bullying is, what it can cause, and what the signs of bullying are. Because like, remember back to preschool, how often did you hear about bullying in preschool?
Never.
Like personally, I
I
didn't
mean,
hear.
there was-
I was the bully, bro.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
there was that smug cunt that throws sand in your eyes, but then you throw sand in his eyes and you leave with Steven.
Not
Oh, sorry, go Shane.
not preschool, but I don't remember shit from preschool.
Yeah.
But like primary school, I remember because I was the bully, but that was just because of like home shit that was going on, and I was like just looking for a source to like fucking put my anger out of the way. Yeah, I feel like that's a lot of way with a lot of kids though. Their home struggles.
Yeah, that's what I was going to move on to next. But like real quick, like when you think about the primary school or even high school, bullying seminars or education things only came up when there was an incident of bullying at the school.
Yes, exactly. I can vouch for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like never enforced or anything like that, like consistently.
I remember the police came into St. John's because I forget what happened. I know that there was something to do with a bunch of girls bullying this other girl, and she didn't come to school for like half a year. We all thought she was dead. That's how bad it was.
Yeah.
And she just comes back into school one day, and then like a day later, like the fucking Dubbo police force are in the hall giving us a rundown of what cyberbullying is, what bullying, all this stuff, and like they were really really formal with it and everything. And then we didn't have another talk like that until I think a year later when something similar happened, and then like that's exactly right though, but like it doesn't get addressed properly until something like that happens.
Yeah, that's my point. So it's like something like that happens, and then it's just, this is bad, don't do it. That's it for like a year until it happens again. So there's two things I think that need to happen with this kind of thing. First of all, there needs to be more awareness and education surrounding bullying before it happens to teach these kids that it's wrong. Do some team building exercises so kids get along better, and so that they don't like need to weed out the weak one or whatever. And then second of all, make more mental health services available for these kids, because not only just for the victims, the bullies, like Shane said, a lot of stuff is going on at home. Quite often, children who are the subject of abuse or abusive fathers or mothers try to gain more power at school because they feel so powerless at home.
Facts.
Exactly, yeah.
Give education and mental support for these kids so they can talk to their school about, like, I feel like they're like, oh, my dad picks on me at home, so I think that's what I should do, and I do it at school instead. So, like, we can break this cycle of mental illness and just ignoring it and brushing it under the rug,
And expanding on that, the reason that shit happens over and over again through generation is because if you don't educate the children, they will grow up to become parents, and then those kids won't get that sort of seriousness about bullying that those said parents didn't either, because they will just continue on the cycle of mental health ignorance. And that's what I feel like we're getting better at. That's why I feel like this generation to the last generation is so much better, because it is becoming a more serious topic and more serious, becoming more subject to discussion, but something still needs to be done about it. Like, I don't know about the schooling system now, but when I was in schools, like 4 years ago, something like that. 4?
6.
Like no, it would be
I was in
5. No, it'd be
school 4 years
5.
ago.
Yeah.
It'd be
Yep.
5. That shit wasn't as
Awesome.
prominent when I was in 11 and 12, but as I said, when I was in 10, 9, 8, 7, that shit was like every fucking day. And
Yeah.
it made me have like a different perspective, because in primary school, I kind of fluctuated through like being a bully to being bullied. Through kindy to year 1, I was in West Infants and just fucking beat up. And then go to year 2, that's when shit started to happen at home and I started to get beat up a lot. And I wanted to transfer that into school because I couldn't do shit at home. Like, what am I going to do? Beat up this man that I could not overpower for the fucking life of me. So what do? I transfer that to school and kind of beat on the kids that are weaker than me and kind of have that image in my head that that's him. It's kind of my way to move that anger aside and do that. But then I got to high school and then I become the bullied, and that kind of opened my eyes up a lot, because I feel like if you know both sides of the spectrum with the bullied and the bully, it makes you have like a whole nother level of empathy to said like victims and bullies, because you, instead of saying like, oh, that bully needs to be taught a lesson, like a victim, that's the only person that should be coddled and should be kept away from the thing. No one looks at the bully and says he needs help. Everyone's saying he needs to be taught a lesson. But that's the thing. Like, that's what Sam
the
said.
thought process is, we need to kick the shit out of him, or we need to shame him so he doesn't do it again.
Yeah.
How many fathers say to their kids, if you're being bullied, just punch him in the nose?
Yeah.
How many fathers say it to their kids instead of saying like,
That's what my mum said to me.
exactly, yeah. And like, while I understand sticking up for yourself and stuff, it's more serious than he's just pick on you for the sake of it.
Yeah, well, agreeably, but though I do feel like the problem is though, like at school, that is the only place where you are not allowed to properly defend yourself. Because if you think about it, when you're at school and a bully's hitting you, all right, and you hit them back, you're both in trouble, and you sometimes get in more trouble for retaliating.
Yeah, but I also disagree, because like a lot of the time, kids who get into fights at school don't get charged with assault, so it's like the only time you can fight back.
Yeah, but expanding on Blair's point, I got into a fight for defending my friend. He was in the special education unit, and he was getting picked on by this just complete cockhead. Yeah. And he was just like, "Oh, you want to fight? You want to fight?" I stood in for him because it was so unfair. It was like this guy was just picking on this guy because he knew he could, and then I stood in and kind of defended my friend from him, and the guy took the first punch, and I defended myself, and then I got suspended for fucking 3.5 weeks, while he only got 1. It's like, what am I learning here? Am I learning for sticking up for people makes me in the wrong and he gets away with that shit? That's the education system like that is just fucking stupid.
And the education system is the only place where that will... well, there's surely some other circumstances, but it's one of the only places where that I can think of where that happens.
Yeah.
Because in real life, if someone punches you, okay, and you punch them back, technically that's self-defense, and that's absolutely fine. But if you were to do that in school, you're you're just as bad as them.
I'm pretty sure in Australia that's actually not a thing.
Yeah, no, it's not. You can't really fight back.
No, you can't.
You can't fight back?
No, it's not self-defense.
You can to save your life, but like if someone just punches you, you're supposed to remove yourself from the situation. I'm pretty sure.
It's basically like, the way I see it is, if you're damaged the most, the other person gets the offense.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't matter who throws the punch first. You still like interacted in a sort of violence that, caused harm to one another. But it's just basically, let's say me and you get in a fight, Blair, in a street brawl.
Mm-hmm.
and you beat
Something you
me.
won't walk away from.
Oh my
You beat me senseless. Like you beat me so fucking bad that like you almost kill me. But I beat you up pretty well too. But you just pummeled me. You went too far. You could still charge me for assault, but I could also charge you for like attempted murder because you almost killed me. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you
Like,
mean. Yeah.
it's like basically I'm worse off, so you're gonna get more jail time. So it's like just like that with school, is that Shane might have been defending someone or himself, but he did the most damage in the long run, so he got 3.5 weeks off. Which also brings to another point. Like the school consequence system is so fucked. Like
Yeah.
Shane beats up a kid and gets a 3.5 week holiday. Like it doesn't make sense. Like
Yeah, yeah.
the worst thing that I found at school was getting afternoon detentions or having like forced to go to tutorings and like all that sort of thing. Like I wasn't stupid, but I like paid consequences for not turning up to school. And that was mainly that I had to stay behind or, I'd have to get extra work done or, like that sort of thing.
Yeah.
It's like they never gave you a consequence in a way that actually made you smarter. Like never actually gave you the knowledge. So that's also too at school because they consequenced me in a way where it was like you just have a detention for fucking 5 minutes. You stay 5 minutes behind after the bell.
Mm.
Or it was like this sort of shit. And like I fell further and further behind. And then my teachers really just did not give a shit anymore. Hey, they did not care about my mental health. And it was just like, for example, mine and fucking Sam's economics teacher. Prime fucking example for me. Um, Basically year 11 I chose economics because I like numbers, I like money, everyone fucking likes money in some way, and I wanted to actually learn about like business and I wanted to do all these things because like I find myself pretty ambitious, but I don't anymore because of like basically what I learned at school. Anyway, this like teacher like she got us to do homework, basically like pointed out to me and my mate and even Sam in class and pretty much like like made fun of us in front of the whole class. Basically Sam's year 11 and 12 experience wasn't that good, so even though he told her the story about what was going on or gave her a brief understanding, she understood it, but he'd like not turn up to school or he'd be late, and she would like poke fun and be like, "Oh yeah, she decided to turn up to school today," like all this sort of thing in front of the whole class, and they would just laugh. Like it's just like this thing, and like one time there was a homework, and I was like, "I ain't doing this fucking shit. Like I'm gonna drop this subject anyway. This teacher's shit." And I wrote in there, and I was like, "You actually make me feel like shit for trying to learn in your class, and that's why I'm dropping it." And she pulled me up after class and was like, "Is this actually how you feel?" And I said, "Yeah, this is why I don't actually turn up to your class because you do make me feel like shit. Like I actually come to school wanting to learn, trying to learn, and because I don't get it straight away, you like pick out. You know what I mean? Like it was just like it was just terrible. Like I had to drop it.
Mm.
I just couldn't mentally like go with it anymore. And even like the same with like my maths teacher and my biology teacher and all those other teachers. There was two good teachers that actually gave a shit and they would actually like check up on me and see what the go is and actually joke around and talk with me. Where like the rest of my teachers was just like nah. Like my maths teacher, I turned up one day and this is when I wasn't living at home for a while and I was year 12. Anyway. She was like, "Why are you so late all the time? Like, what's going on? Like, you're one of my top students and now you like fell down." And I basically said like, "Oh, like I'm not doing well at home. Like I'm not living there at the moment." And she just like didn't even like check up on me or anything. She was just like, "Radio, like come sit down, just be quiet and do your work." And I was like, like that's when I was just like I was like, "Oh my god, like what the fuck am I supposed to do?"
Yeah.
Like I literally, you try to reach out to someone that's close to you, that's an adult that isn't your parent, or isn't like you know what I mean.
Yeah.
That is a parent that you'd think would understand, but they're so fixed minded on like your results and what you do, and basically like this, they don't try to build you back up because they don't want to. They just couldn't be bothered, and that's how I feel about school.
Yeah, I actually experienced that a lot at St. John's. What happened was is I'm pretty sure you boys all knew. Just by I just was not enjoying school last 2 years.
Yeah.
Like, I'm pretty sure you all noticed, but like I wasn't. I would just thought to myself, I really don't want to be here. I hate this, and that's why I took up so much work experience because I just wanted to be out of school as much as I could.
Yeah.
Like I was doing like work experience at 2 different places. I was only going to school 3 days a week in year 10, and that was like my last year of school. I was doing work experience at Pound for Pound Boxing Gym with Gummy Toomey, and I was doing work experience at KFC because I just explained to my manager at the time, Kira Lee. I said to her, I'm really not. What?
You don't have to name drop. You can just like say your manager.
Sorry. That's right.
That's
back,
all good.
back to the story. Back to the story. I just said to her, I'm like, I'm just really not enjoying school. Like, it's not working for me. I'm not getting along with it. I said to her, I'm only getting along with like probably 3 of my teachers. That's it. The rest I just can't stand, and they're always, making me feel like an idiot every chance I get. And so I was doing work experience, and I was only going to school 3 days a week. And those 3 days I'd go to school, I'd have to go to the independent learning center. That was pretty much where they put all the kids that they didn't want to put up with, or they put the special ed kids in there as well.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is though, like those very rare times where I got to go into actual classrooms to learn, the teachers would always just put me down because like, I'm not at school. And they don't tell me what to do when they put me in the independent learning area. They don't tell me what to do. I'd literally just sit in there for like a whole day, only going out for recess and lunch.
Yeah.
Because they didn't tell me what to do. And when I go into class, they'd be learning all this, and the teacher would, they'd say, "Oh, why aren't you listening in class, Blair? Why can't you do this? Why can't you do that?" And I'm just like, because I remember one time I got really mad. I said to one of the teachers, I'm like, "Because you don't fucking tell me what to do. You just dump me in that room," and like, and I got the whole, you shouldn't speak to me like that. I'm the adult here and all this, and that was like probably one of the first times I told a teacher just to go fuck themselves, and I left the room. And what ended up happening was like I wasn't even going to learn. I'd go into the library disabled toilets, and I'd wag class just sitting in the disabled toilets, just fucking playing Clash of Clans or something on my phone for like whole days.
I thought you said you were gonna wank.
Yeah. No, I go have a cheeky one, but no. The only classes I'd ever go into was my drama class, my sports class when the teacher, because these are the only classes I liked. My sports class with a teacher of mine who's a really good mate though, and my English class because the teacher in there was really nice and she really helped me out every chance she got. Apart from that though, I would not show up for religion, maths, or anything.
Yeah.
I made it very clear that I did not want to be with those teachers. And to be fair, I did show up to science sometimes because I actually liked my science teacher, but he was only we only had him like once a week. The other time we just had some fucking wanker.
I mean, why would you show up for religion? Like preschool's over, story time's over.
No, I got cycled out of religion, regardless, because I got cycled out of most of my classes anyway, but I'd still show up to be a smartass rarely.
Well,
and I got half the reason I didn't show up to religion is because I made a paper plane out of the Bible page and threw it.
Oh man.
So this discussion brings up a really important point, I think, about mental health and how adults react to children who try to reach out about their mental health, especially like Blair and Murky, the points you brought up about telling the teachers what's going on and them just kind of sweeping it under the rug or acting like they don't care. I had a similar situation with like the deputy principal of mine and Ethan's high school and Shane's, but he didn't go with us.
Yeah.
Where, I was 17, I'd been out of home for a few months. And I told him that my dad was abusive and that I had been kicked out of home and I was struggling and I'd like found my own place, but I had to work a lot. And then all he had to say to that was, "Oh, I thought your dad was a good bloke. Like, maybe you guys can work it out." That's all he had to say. He completely ignored the abusive part, the fact that he kicked me out with, like, no money to my name and I was struggling to live on my own. Mm-hmm. He ignored all that and just went straight to, "Oh, you seem like a good bloke. Maybe you guys can work it out." And I did work experience with a bricky place in Dubbo. I was a bricklayer for a little while, like at Labour at least. And so I did a full week, like Monday through Friday. And the Wednesday was the day I got kicked out. I still went on Thursday. At the end of the Thursday shift, I said to him, "Look, I can't come tomorrow. I need to go to Centrelink. I need to find a place to live. I need to work with my other job because I have my money there, and like I just need to sort some stuff out because I've been kicked out of home." I told him my dad was abusive, and he was like, "Oh, well, you must have done something to your dad for him to kick you out."
Oh,
Wasn't that when you came and lived at my place for a bit though?
I stayed with your place for a little while. Yeah,
Yeah.
I was couch surfing for a while, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was like he was trying. He was basically victim blaming, telling it was my fault that I got kicked out, and that my dad wouldn't kick me out without a good reason. So all this stuff. The point I'm trying to make is a lot of the reason people get so bad in their mental health and they feel so alone is because
Because no one wants to believe them.
adults are constantly diminishing their experiences. And like to constantly hear that you're not valid or that what you're feeling isn't right or that it's your fault or you can just get over it. Like it's gaslighting and it makes you feel like maybe they are right and I can get over this or it is my fault, and it leaves just like a massive dissonance between who they really are and what they think they should be.
Yeah.
So then where's their like identity? They're stuck between these expectations that they have and their parents have or their adults have, and they're not really anything at all. They just feel so alone. Like that's what I felt at least during high school. So I can imagine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just like the way that I look at it is teachers and I guess parents and everything else don't realize that from what is it, the age of 6 or 5 when we start school to the time we're 18, 19, we're spending what is it, 30 hours a week at school. So school's our life for that whole time. Where we have to go, basically, school's our second family, school's our second home from that time. And they don't realize if we don't have a good experience at school and we don't actually, like, do all this stuff, and it's just like you get bullied and you get all this shit done to you and you don't learn and you fall behind and you do all this stuff. Teachers, like, it feels like teachers and adults and everything don't actually realize that can play a really big toll on you and basically deteriorate your mental health and kind of fuck you up for the future.
Yeah.
And like I'm hoping the next generation of teachers is going to be a lot better, but it's like for this one now, like they're never going to take credit for what they've like how they've made me feel. They'll always flip it onto like it's us, we didn't try to reach out, blah blah blah, we didn't get involved at school, we could have tried harder, we could have done all this stuff. And it's like now that like I've already thought about this, teachers have also told me that I'm never gonna be anything but a fucking janitor. I don't know, like I'm never gonna amount to anything. That's basically like a quote that I've had from a teacher at school.
Yeah.
Like that's gonna play a toll on me forever. That can either go both ways, where I'm constantly competing against this thing that's burnt into my head by a teacher, by an actual adult that's the grown up supposed to be supporting me, has told me this, burn in my head, and I can either compete against that and always try to be better than what they've said I'm gonna be, or I'm actually gonna live up to what they've said.
Right.
So I'm always gonna be like a bottom feeder, I guess, or always in fourth place, always participating but never getting the recognition that I want.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
and it's so scary, like with the whole topic of generational mental health appreciation or acceptance or acknowledgement or anything like that. It's crazy because what I said when our generation got hit like a brick wall and now it's on to the next one. It's like we want the next group of teachers to actually educate these kids to be what they want to be better than they have to, feel like they have to be, you know what I mean? Like, it's so weird because our generation's stuck in the middle of COVID and, like global warming. If any of the audience actually believes in that, I believe in it, but it's like another thing is like our generation is so stuck in the middle between old generation and new generation that it's kind of like fucked us up.
Yeah.
Well, fucked me up anyway.
Yeah, we're the in-between generation, unfortunately. So like while we are growing up and realizing all the stuff that needs to change, the older guys are still in power.
Yeah.
And by the time they're out of it, the generation below us will be old enough to get into power as well. So like, we have to try and educate the generation below us, but we can't do it from a position of power. You know what I mean? because we're the in between generation, which really fucking sucks. But it is what it is.
Yeah, it's like it's good fucking metaphor. You're playing let's say Call of Duty. We play Call of Duty, we have so much fun before a fucking 120 gigabyte update comes. So where, so where the fucking 120 gigabyte update?
We're still pending.
The old generation is fucking, let's say, Modern Warfare 2 or 3 or Black Ops 1, Black Ops 2, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
We're fucking Advanced Warfare. And then these other motherfuckers that are younger than us is like a new COD that's good. I don't know.
You got that.
No such thing as a new COD.
That
It's
broke
just
down.
gone downhill.
That broke down so hard.
Okay, you shut up. Cold War was fucking awesome.
Okay, I'm sorry, that metaphor was ass, man.
I know it was us. It sounded good in my head until I realized that COD's just a downward spiral. So.
I was with you. I was like, yeah.
This makes
Wait.
sense. And then I realized that COD's just a shithole now.
I was with you with the Modern Warfare, like Modern Warfare 2. I'm like, yeah, that's a good one. But nah, fucking. To be fair though, Call of Duty Cold War was very good. That was a good game.
We were like, yes, Murky,
Yeah.
no, no.
Yeah. I probably should have went for like
Tag out,
fucking
mate.
for like Windows or something, like Windows XP to Windows 7 or
Where
I don't know. I shouldn't have just even opened my mouth, honestly.
the older generation trying to still win team deathmatch while we're getting that epic victory royale.
Shut
Uh,
up.
Dude, Fortnite. I actually feel like Fortnite, bro.
Why the fuck did you eat your mic for that?
Sorry, bro. So I actually screamed into it, but fucking Fortnite at the moment. I feel like that's another thing that's playing on fucking everybody's mental state. Like, you get the little kiddies that are like, that we are ashamed of, so that fucks our mental health, and then it fucks the parents. It fucks the parents' mental health because they're using all their money for V-Bucks, and then these little kids aren't winning any fucking victory royales. They're dying within like 30 seconds, and they're like yeeting their controllers and like pulling out their hair, and fucking when you're so angry that you like squeeze your PlayStation controller, it starts cracking. Yeah,
Bro,
Randy, you just
Where the fuck did this come from?
dude, Fortnite,
No,
that's
no.
where it came from.
metaphors need work. Man.
yeah,
I'm sorry.
bro. When I'm playing Fortnite and a kid hits me with the L dance, I just want to fucking kill myself. That's where my
Exactly,
mental
bro,
health
yeah.
problems come
Yeah.
from.
That's the stem of my depression, bro.
A 12-year-old hitting the L dance and the orange fucking justice on me.
I'm
Dude,
more
no.
ashamed of my life.
I don't think it's. I don't know if it was Orange Just, but one of them was taken out because of copyright. I'm not sure if it was Orange Justice or not.
It wouldn't have been Orange Justice, because
The backpack was the
Oh, was it?
that. Yeah, I don't know what it's called. The floss. The floss.
Oh, the
Floss.
floss. Okay, good. Because yeah, I was thinking, fuck, because I haven't played Fortnite in fucking ages. But I just remember when Orange Justice came out, that was just the pinnacle of comedy.
Was
There's
it?
a bunch of other. Yeah. It's
Pinnacle, bro. You must have no sense of
Yeah,
humor. if you
honestly.
thought Orange Justice is the funniest thing.
Like, it's funny, but like it wasn't that funny.
It
It was
was
the
fuck-
pinnacle.
Look. To me, Khan and our mate O'Shea, you know O'Shea, we thought that was the funniest fucking shit ever.
Why?
I don't know. It was just the way the kid delivered the dance, and then when it got added, we just
Oh, I
thought that was fucking.
I thought the video of the kid was funny. I don't think the fucking dance in Fortnite was
Yeah.
funny.
Oh, we just thought the whole thing with it was just so fucking great.
The Orange Justice was Blair's generation's Robin Williams.
Oh, that reminded me, man. Now I'm
Come on,
I actually am depressed again.
I loved Robin Williams.
But
Oh,
Orange
yeah,
Justice
like,
was the pinnacle.
Robin Williams met this gorilla in the
Oh, I
zoo.
know. Yep.
When she found out that he passed away, she cried.
Yeah.
Yeah, that shit was sad.
Bro, why are you bringing me
Coco-
down?
You,
dude,
you brought Blues up. You started it.
Dude, I'm pretty sure that gorilla was called Coco.
Yes, Coco. Coco.
Yeah,
the gorilla,
Coco.
yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, Coco also likes to rip her pet kittens in half, so let's not forget that.
I
But we've went way off topic here.
See, generational emotional changes, acceptance.
Yeah. we play.
Well,
play
I actually had another topic. Well, it's all good. No, I actually had another topic that I wanted to bring up,
What?
Go on.
and I feel like this is one that it annoys some people, it concerns some people, but people who base their entire personality around like a mental illness just
Like
for
emos.
attention.
Gabby Hanna. Gabby
Oh
Hanna.
no.
But you know what I
These
you know
guys
what-
have mentally abused me.
But you know what I mean though, right? And,
Yeah.
and like I feel like shit like that is like you have someone who says they're depressed, and whenever you ask for proof, they don't have the proof.
Oh,
and but if you-
I don't think you should ask
Until
for
they
proof.
show the barcode on their wrist.
That
What
is true.
proof? What proof is there for mental illness, Blair?
But like no, they're clearly faking is what I meant.
Here are my tissues from last night's crying session. Is this
Yeah.
enough for you?
You can't be clearly faking mental
No.
illness. I'm not saying people don't fake it, and it is an issue that definitely takes away from the seriousness of it altogether. But you can't devalue
Ask the
someone just
proof.
because you think that they're faking it, because
Yeah.
what they are.
It's really insensitive, and to like, I don't like. That's such a dangerous sentence, honestly.
Yeah, honestly.
Like, you could go, like, if you actually said to someone that's on the brink of,
Okay.
not being on this world anymore, like, if you ask them, where's your proof? They actually go ahead and,
All right,
Yeah.
boys.
it's just like that.
Let me reiterate. Okay, we're
Really?
gonna take the Asperger's statement out of that. So my social cues have now been taken. I do apologize for that.
Okay,
That
that's good.
that it sounds like an excuse, but that's honestly it. I just do not think when I say shit like that. But
That's good.
But the problem is I should have used words that were a bit more better. But it's just people who are like like you try to help them, but they're doing it for attention mostly. Those ones.
I
Yeah.
understand that.
Because I knew a guy on, and we all thought he was depressed, and we gave him attention. We were just talking to him every night to make sure he's all good. But we found out later from one of his friends that we also spoke to online. He said to us that he's only pretending to be depressed so we could talk to this one girl in the group chat that we're all in. And I was just thinking, people that do stuff like that I feel like that puts a bad light on, mental health, depression, and all
Yeah.
that. Because
It's like
people
a-
are just people
Sorry.
think. Okay.
I said sorry, that's why, sorry.
Yeah, no, we apologize. It's all good. I don't have to bash him, but but it puts a bad light on people, because the way I thought it was, there I was, talking to this guy, trying to help him. When it,
Oh my god. Stop saying,
Murky, stop! You're frying my brain. You're frying my brain. You don't know, but
Go and play.
but there I was, fuck, oh my god.
No, just let him say it. Let him say it.
I was trying, we'll help. Oh my god.
No, Blair, just say it. Doesn't matter.
We were helping this guy out, and the way I saw it is we could have been, there was someone else out there that could have, really wanted the help,
Yeah.
and here we were, this guy was flat out lying to us just because he wanted attention of a lesbian.
Yeah.
Well, that's like another thing I wanted to bring up is that people actually think it's like cool now to have mental health issues.
Yeah, that's what
Like-
I'm trying to say, yeah.
Like, you can have this persona, like, like it's you look at like emos or goths or whatever, like I'm not like downgrading them, but I'm just saying like they base their whole appearance of how they actually feel or like or what they see. Like you could have emos that are actually like really in depth with their mental health issues that appear that way, or you have emos that want to dress that way because they think it's cool. Or it's like, like during school, like it's become a trend to have mental health issues. Like it's not something that you want to have. It's not something that you should just throw around. It should be a reason to let people know that this is why you're not okay. This is basically like, I wouldn't say excuse, but it's just a way of saying this is why I'm doing this at the moment. This is what's going on. Like you can, yeah.
Yeah,
positive.
that's what I was
And
trying to get across with. Sorry, Sam. Yeah.
will be.
But yeah,
you will
no.
be. You will be when I do the orange
So what I was
justice on
going to
you.
say,
Oh no, the pinnacle of humor.
Keep talking, Sam. Keep talking. Don't do it to me.
will. Thank you. I will keep talking. Mental illness is definitely a reason, but it's not a justification.
No.
So you might have acted that way because of your mental illness. Okay, fair enough. That doesn't mean you're A, exempt from apologizing or taking accountability, or B, it doesn't give you the right to act that way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, like, you can
Facts.
say, like, I act like this because of my mental illness. Okay, cool. Go see a therapist, get it fixed because it's not okay.
Yeah.
And I think that as well is with your issue, Blair, of being annoyed at people, and everyone's issue of being annoyed at people who fake it and do it for attention, instead of accusing them of faking it or asking them to prove it on the risk they might actually be being serious, say to them, okay, well, you need to get some professional help.
Yeah, well, that's what I
Because-
say to most people now. It's like,
Yeah,
look,
be
I'm
like-
glad you reached out to me, but like, what do you
Yeah.
want me to do? I say, I can't wave a wand.
like
Better.
it's not our job as like people who aren't professionals to A, diagnose, B, help you feel better, or C, on our end of things, decide whether we think they're being true or not. That's the professional's job. So say to them, even if you have an inkling that it's like fake or whatever, just say to them, okay, well, go and see a therapist, please, because they can help you better than I can.
Yeah.
You know what though, Sam?
What?
I got my psychology certificate from YouTube, so you can shut the fuck up.
Sorry, bro.
You're done for now. You're fucked up.
Can you give me some therapy sessions, please?
But like that's also too like everyone nowadays thinks that they're some fucking genius because they watch YouTube videos of other people that think they're geniuses, and it's just a circle. So it's
Yeah,
like gone to the
version of
point.
How to handle depression.
Well, it's like
Online investment gurus.
join my e-commerce book today. Anyway, it's like in school, you know, I'll talk to some people, basically like scope out what they're feeling, because like I was genuinely interested, like see if I was related to can relate, that sort of thing, see anything that can help me, and yeah, they'll just think that there's some sort of guru that knew everything about mental health, and like, you know, they'll like, you should take this, like, you should take caffeine tablets, you should take meds, you should take blah blah blah, and it's like, this isn't gonna help me unless I know that I have some sort of chemical imbalance.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
if you're telling me to go out and like do this thing to fix me, and it doesn't work, and it actually fucks me up in the long run, like, what are you gonna do? Are you gonna feel bad? Like, what do you like? You fucked up my life. What are you gonna do about it? You know what I mean? Like, so that's why it's a good thing to recommend going to a professional,
Yeah.
or talking with someone to some point, never telling them what to do. Just go, hey, on a personal level, this is what I do. It's just a suggestion. Maybe try it. If it doesn't work, try something else, or go see a professional. Like,
Or even just telling them that you're there and you understand what they're going through and that they're valid as well is a very helpful thing
yeah.
as well.
Well,
Yeah. Well, that actually brings up another story. I won't name the person out of respect to their privacy, but I'll tell you who it was after, because you already know who it was. But one of the people, I'm really distant from him now because he just went about the whole thing so weird that it sort of broke us apart. But you know, he I knew he was depressed, and I talked to him most days about it, you know, and I'd always tell him, like, you know, I'd say to him, like, you know, sort of, you got to pick yourself up, and like, you know, I'm happy to help you, but you got to start stepping out. I said, don't do big things, you know, like, don't jump out. I said, he's like, I don't. He goes, I can't wake up and just feel fine. I'm like, you don't wake up and feel fine. You know, nothing snaps its finger, and you know, you're better. You do small things. Because I remember when I was depressed, I didn't realize I was depressed, but apparently I was. I had to start. What really helped me was small things, because I thought at the start of it, I'm like, all right, I got to do one big giant thing and I'll feel better. But no, I realized taking small steps every day, that really helped me. And I said to him, just start small, you know, help someone, help yourself. And one day, he sent me a picture of his arm, and he just went to absolute town with a razor blade on it.
fucking hell.
Because he set it up as a joke. He says to me, I made some art. He said, I took your advice and made some art. I'm like, oh, that's great. I'd love to see it. Show me, send it through. And he just sent me a picture of his arm just hacked up.
That's fucked.
And I said to him, what the fuck? Why would you send me this? And he goes, I said, I don't think this is funny. And then instantly his mood snapped out into like a different person. He's like, I don't think it's funny, all this, that, and this. He goes, this is me. Like, isn't this? He said this was a small thing and it's helped. I'm like, self-harm doesn't help. It makes it worse. And like, he went on this massive rant and he said like, oh, I'm deleting Facebook. I'm like, that's fine. Don't talk to me. Because I just thought, I can't help him if he's acting like this, you know?
Yeah, and like speaking from experience of self harm, um, like I've done it before. Like I thought there was no way out, and my way of channeling everything that I was feeling, or my way of internalizing, because I didn't want to go to anyone else, was to do it on myself without causing too much attention. Like I never did it for attention. That's not like some people. You have two sides of it. People just do it on their own. Some people do it for attention. Like I just never did it for attention, and like I knew that if I did it to something in my room, like punched a hole or cut up my bed or something like that, it would cause attention from the outside, and it would like put me through something that I didn't want to have to go through. And it's like another thing as well is like one day I just broke in front of like some people, and basically like I got called like it makes me uncomfortable, but
You don't have to
instead of like asking like if I was okay or whatever, they just called me like a cutter, like straight out.
That's hard.
And like like it took a deep thing on me, and which is like okay, like I bounced back from it. That was kind of my turning point. But it you, like again, once again, like I said before, there's two ways that someone could go about it. Is if you say one thing wrong, they could go a really bad way, a really good way. And luckily, I went the really good way and I bounced back. But it's just like you just don't say that. Like you just
Yeah.
don't say that, no
No.
matter who it is.
I'm sorry I had to go through that, man. That's really
Yeah.
fucked.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, like it's fine. Like
It's not fine. It's definitely not fine.
history's not gonna repeat itself. I'm not gonna go back there, nor can I really change it. Like,
But- In case you do, you know that we're all here for you, right?
Yeah.
yeah,
Man.
Don't restrict yourself by saying that I'm never gonna go back there, because in case you do, you're gonna feel embarrassed to come to us for help.
yeah.
Okay, so if you do, we're here for you, man.
Thank you. But it's just like the way that I'm starting to mature is that my past I can't change. My past is my story. My past is my roots, and my future is something that I continuously write. So rather than focus on the negatives and everything else, obviously like I have my days. Everyone has their days, as I've said before on here. But it's like I could have really shit handwriting or I could have really good. Like, what would you rather focus on? Would you rather focus on getting really good handwriting so you can read it and look back on it and be happy with it? Or scribble it really shit, really rushed, and trying to get through something that you don't want to ever have to go back and read again?
I
So,
wonder who would ever do that.
but it's just like that's where I'm at now, is that I'm writing my own story, and it doesn't have to be, but it's like I want to put it in a handwriting metaphorically that I want to look back on and be happy with. Like it's something that I want to take pride in,
Yeah.
make my life, something that I want to be a part of,
Yeah.
and others want to be a part of. Like I don't want to have to spend time on isolating and sticking to myself all the time and being that person that I was.
Yeah.
It was just
Yeah.
that's where I'm at.
There's like going back to like Blair's thing when he was helping that guy. So like I had like kind of the same thing, like experience. Like I'm a person that takes what someone feels like mentally very, very seriously. Like if you like a small sign of it and I'm trying to make that person feel as good as they possibly can. Like so my old mate when I lived in Wollongong, we went out one night, and before we went out, he drank a full bottle of vodka, and then we finally went out, and he just kept downing drink after drink after drink. And we got home, and he was saying to me, "I don't feel so well. I don't feel so well." And then, I was up, and his roommate was up, and like she was trying to take care of him, and I was fucked also. So when he left for the hospital, because he said he wanted to get his stomach pumped and he wasn't feeling too good, I was like falling asleep. So when I woke up in the morning, I remember him telling me that there was something wrong with his mental state and like how he was really bad last night and how he just wanted to like end it all and shit like that. Come to find out months later that he actually didn't feel like that, and he just wanted a drip in his arm.
Wow.
And
What?
yeah,
Damn, okay.
he did not feel sad. He did not feel in any mental anguish. He was just very drunk, and he wanted a drip in his arm. Me, as a friend, I tried to, I hid my annoyance, and I...
You gave him the whole, oh, that's hilarious.
No, I didn't say anything. I was annoyed. I was annoyed visibly, but I didn't say anything. I was like, restraining myself and like, let me take a second here. But his roommate, the roommate that followed him to hospital, waited with him until 5 o'clock in the morning, even though she had uni the next day, and did all this shit for him. Found out she was fucking pissed, and I would be also. Like, who would lie about that shit and go to the hospital
Just to have a drip in their arm.
just to have a drip in their arm?
What is so cool about the drip?
I don't know.
Hydration, baby.
Yeah, let's go. But like, to tarnish that trust for someone, and to like
Over something so stupid.
Like, I understand if someone wants to go to the hospital if they're not feeling that great and they really want professional help right that second. I'm like, yeah. I just didn't go because if I went, I would have thrown up all over the hospital floor, and I passed out. That's the only reason I didn't go. But I'm kind of glad I didn't go because it was all a fucking farce. It was a lie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was so unfair on everyone in that situation. And fucking, yeah, he was like one of my closest friends too, so it was kind of hard to swallow that tablet, that fucking truth bomb after he said that shit.
I understand that, man.
Yeah, I get that. And that fella that did that thing to me, he was a really good friend of mine.
Yeah.
And then, like, he's apologized to me and everything. He says, oh, like, I just can't speak to him in the same way that I used to because it's just so hard.
Yeah.
Because, like, pretty much all I gather from that is he just wanted it. He wanted, I get he wanted attention, but he went about it in the wrong way.
Yeah.
And, like, it's just,
It's like that's the weird thing about mental health is that every way that you reach out isn't always the right way to do it, and it's like it's a really tough pill to swallow, or for Shane to say it, tablet, but like people have to realize that physically harming yourself or standing on the edge of a bridge, or like it's just like I could be really insensitive right now, but it's also not the right way to do it. Like you have a start and you have a finish, and that finish is depicted by you or it's depicted by fate. At the end of the day, the start's always depicted by you. You can go to someone at the start or you can go to someone along the way. Basically, it's like a marathon, whether you stop for that bit of water at that table or you keep pushing to the end. And if you don't get that help during the way, that refill, I guess, and the refill basically is any help that you can get, just to clarify. But it's like, if you don't get these refill or refreshment from another person or another thing or something like that, you're depending on yourself and your mental state until you reach the end. And basically, like, you could stop midway you could stop at the end, but you don't actually know what's going to happen if you don't reach out and you try to actually help yourself.
Yeah.
Mm.
Well, it's... Yeah, I don't know what I'm going to say. I feel like we've kind of ended, right?
I've got one more thing I wouldn't
One
mind
more?
saying, if that's cool.
Yeah.
Hit me.
It can only be like a short one. But I just
Okay.
wanted to say, like, we've been talking a lot about this mental health stuff from the outside in, like what can we do to support people, or like not be insensitive, or what can institutions or systems do to be more about raising awareness and education and stuff. But I think it's also to address the inside looking out perspective. Like if you're one with mental illness,
Yeah.
it's very important not for you not to like first
Feel
of
like
all,
you're alone.
no, I'm not like going about that. It's more of like a responsibility thing. Don't rely on
Be rational.
let me just say
Yes. Let the man talk.
people need to stop expecting their friends or their family or their significant others to fix their problems. Do they have mental?
Yeah.
And this goes back to what I was saying earlier about like go and see a therapist. Like a big problem that I have now that I'm working on through actual therapy sessions, and that I have had in the past because of my dad. I've had pretty severe anger problems. I've been irrational at times. Like spurts of anxiety and panic attacks and stuff, along with a lot of flashbacks and bad dreams.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, my partner cops the brunt of that.
Hmm.
And obviously it's very, very wrong. And she is the most amazing person ever to be able to put up with my shit sometimes.
Yeah.
But one thing I learned recently, like not so recently, but like in the last year or year and a half, was that like I can't expect her to just sit there and take it and to fix my problems,
Yeah.
or that my problems will just go away. I think a lot of it comes from the stigma of getting help. You're seen as weak, or you're seen as you can't help yourself, or you need help, or whatever. But taking that step and getting the help and like seeing improvement is like the way to go about it.
Hmm.
And like what I was saying, just stop relying on your people around you to fix you, because they can't do it, and it's just going to ruin relationships.
Hmm.
It's like what I say. I told my mate, last thing I said to him when he sent me his cuttings off, I said to him, mental health, it's a road that you have to take. And I said, it's like walking down a path. You'll meet people on the path that you'll have walk with you for a bit, but eventually they have to split off and go their own way. And the only person that can get over that hill and get over that sense of depression, anxiety, something is you have to walk over it. And like people can help you along the way, but at the end of the day, the only person that can get you up that hill is you walking yourself up, if that makes sense.
Mm.
And
Yeah.
if you want to, and like the problem is, and I said to him, like, if you don't feel comfortable going up the hill yet, you stay down it. Because there's still going to be people at the bottom or on the path that are still there. But like I said, they're going to go their own way, and you need to go your way. And you may not think you like it, but eventually you'll realize that I feel so much better after I faced my fear, or I did something new and tried something new. And I said, and that's the whole point of it. Like you do something new, you do something small, and that's like each hill you go over, till eventually you're just like, well, you wouldn't be fine, but eventually you're in a better state.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing too. You also, going back to the metaphor, you also have to watch those said people on your path, because they could make you have
Just
a
as
little bit of
easily
a...
throw you back.
They could make you have a little detour that puts you right back at the fucking start.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
You gotta... It's the most important thing. You have to watch who is in your circle.
Yeah.
And what are they going to do for you? Like, I very much love my circle right now. That's
a relief.
The boys, I know they'll be there for me. But the fucking, I've lost a lot of friends in the past. One example was I've had a mate that he had a very bad female experience, and he was kind of like he was bedridden for like a week and a half, 2 weeks. Every single day, I'd go over there and spend like 2-3 hours there, just to go over there, make sure he's okay. I went into his bedroom. I was like, "You good? You good today? You good?" Went back home, and then it was like the last week that I moved to Newcastle. I was getting all my shit ready. Not once he came to check up on me. After like I told him that I was struggling a lot, not once.
Yeah.
And it just showed like that was a wrong person in my circle, and it sucked that I expelled more effort than he would ever put in. And right now, I feel like it's very equal.
Yeah.
Like,
Sure.
there's been a lot of times where I've got on Discord, and like Murky would be on, and I'd be like, "Oh, I'm sorry, like I was just not feeling it yesterday." And he did ask like, "What's wrong? Like, what's the problem? What's been happening?" And I rarely get asked that, so I appreciate it every time.
It's okay, man.
So like, it's just that circle of trust that I feel like everyone needs to get down that path.
Yeah.
It's crucial for like a healthy mental state, and that's like not relying on people, but having people there is very, very nice.
For sure. There's a difference between like expecting someone to fix all your problems and then just having someone there for support.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Like
Well,
even
oh, sorry.
even if like with my mum, she would ask me what's wrong every day. It kind of got annoying, but I appreciated it every single time. Like it made me a little bit annoyed, but I also appreciate the hell out of what she's asking.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, it's as simple as asking that simple question, like what's wrong. It's the amount of appreciation that someone could have just from asking that it could astound someone.
Yeah, and it's like the biggest 9 words I've learnt when it comes to mental health is, "Are you okay?" And the last ones are, "Anything I can do to help."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like that's the main thing that I do when it comes to people, because it's not pushy, but it's pushy enough for them to go, "Hey, he actually cares."
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Thanks.
Hey guys, thanks for listening to this episode. Bit of a serious one, but it was just something we really wanted to talk about. And at the end of the day, though, if you feel like you're struggling or you're not feeling too good in the head, or you know someone that isn't feeling too good or anything, just know that you or they matter. No one's better. No one's problems are worse than each other's. And if you feel like you need to talk to anyone, you can call these numbers. Beyond Blue, it's 1300-224636, and the suicide hotline is 131114, and they 24 hours.
Awesome.
No
Thanks,
worries.
Yeah.
Thanks
And
for listening, y'all.
Yeah,
Peace
thanks
out.
guys.
All right, stay safe, everyone.